you're wrapping up to
Mm.
come back to Uganda
Yeah.
would you say a bit of a shock?
Oh, yes.
Would you say it's a bit of a
Ooh.
shock?
We had colleagues collapse and die. Yeah. Because that's sometimes, if you didn't plan your life, that's when you realize I'm not going to have a job again. Someone, a girl with her makeup on, with her long ankara, on a motorbike, to where? The club. There is a lot in these other countries, not just Africa, but any third world country.
A lot of
That
opportunities.
and what to learn.
You mean non-stop for 5 days?
Non-stop, 5 days, heavy downpour. Do you remember, was it last
The
week
storm
when
that
it
we
rained?
had,
That
yes.
storm for 5 days, day and night, non-stop. If a day passed without any spanking or caning, count yourself blessed. So it was tough, but still, I mean, we fetched water at the well. I did not know how to carry a jerrycan of water on my head. I had to learn 20-liter jerrycan on my head at 10, 11?
Yes, P5 is about 10. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us for these conversations on Crystal One-on-One. Now we happen to be at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel, my favorite place to be in Kampala City. And there's so much coming up with the Easter weekend this month. So check out all of Sheraton Kampala's social media platforms. And of course, I'll be telling you what the Easter program will be this year. Now, today I am chatting with a young lady who is a seasoned human resource and administration professional with over 15 years of experience. For the last 13 years, she was working with the United Nations in West Africa. And there's quite a lot to cover when it comes to working away from home. How do you handle, for example, if you have investments at home, the move coming back, because she is in between jobs right now. I do have Gillian Mbabazi joining me. Hi.
Hi, Crystal.
How are you?
I'm good. How
You
are
look
you?
beautiful.
Thank you.
Red
and so
is your
do
color.
You. Thank you.
Mhm.
And so do you.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
had
very
to dress
much.
it up for you.
Do people call you Jill?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jill, Giria, Gideani,
Gillian.
Julian,
Eh,
and they take them
how
all.
does Gillian become Julian?
I don't even know.
Just a little glance and
Yes.
okay.
Yes. And others will say Juliana, that too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I take it all.
Well, I guess Gillian is not that common a name, I would say here.
Yeah.
It's not that common a name. But
Yeah.
it's a beautiful name. I've always loved
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
I've always loved the name Gillian.
Thank you so much.
So, Juliana.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to behave. Thank you for sitting down with me. I met you and I just thought we could have a beautiful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially since you have the time. You're now actually in Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been back now?
3 months now.
3 months?
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. I've not been home in a while. So
You've not been home this long
Yes.
For 13 years, essentially.
Yes, for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to be back home, enjoy the weather, enjoy family. Oh my goodness, bonding with my nephews, doing homework.
You're not tired
with
of us
them.
yet?
No, they're not. No, they're not. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I may get so tired so fast. But every single day, actually, I check in and I'm like, am I still okay? And I'm like, I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it. Downtime, enjoying the downtime too.
Yeah.
Because work was hectic.
It was hectic.
Yeah. And I remember towards the end, one of the directors, we had many people give us pep talks. And one of the directors saying, guys, we know you're going and you will not have a job anytime, maybe sooner,
Yes, yes.
but enjoy the downtime.
Because once you get
The
back
rest,
into it again,
yes, then you're
you
chasing.
know, I'm always talking about seasons in life. Sometimes we see them coming, sometimes we do actually plan for them.
Yeah,
But every season in life is important for a reason.
yeah,
And the funniest thing is, as harsh as COVID was for many of us, the more people I talk to, they're like, but you know, I needed it. I needed that time. I needed
absolutely.
that time to rediscover who I
Yeah,
am. I needed that time to, I don't know, maybe get to know what I love. People
enjoy
started
home.
businesses, people started projects, all
True.
manner of things.
People enjoyed family.
That too, by the
Yeah,
way.
people enjoyed.
We talk about the rat race,
Yeah,
and it's so funny when you're growing up, you're in such a rush to get your job, have my own money, my salary, no one can tell me anything. And then
yeah.
the reality of it is just like the major years you get to spend with your family are gone.
You go.
Yeah. Okay, so I need to know, as
Okay.
someone who's worked away from Uganda for 13 years, someone would ask, okay, what about your education? Are you fully Ugandan? Did you grow up here? Did you go to school here?
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Okay. I'm Ugandan. I'm Ugandan, born, raised in Uganda. My journey, well, I was born in Mengo Hospital.
Oh,
Yes.
you're a Mengo Hospital baby.
Yes. Then my mom moved, well, I'm a last born with my mom.
Okay.
So shortly, maybe a year or so after my giving birth to me, she moved to Kisoro.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Her parents were getting much older, and someone had to look after them. But then I believe things weren't working with my father too. So uh, my siblings, my older siblings, and myself
Yes.
moved to Kisoro. I was still really a toddler. So my journey begins in Kisoro. Yeah.
Do you get to go back?
A lot. I love going to Kisoro is home. My
Oh,
heart, my soul is Kisoro.
okay.
I love it.
Okay.
It raised me. My formidable years were in Kisoro. I went to Mutole Primary School in Kisoro. Yeah.
Okay.
Then,
Lots of good memories there.
yes, good memories because life was tough. It was literally the village kid.
Yes,
The
yes.
village kid. And for me, those tough times, I think, are the ones that have built character in me.
In you.
And I could go for whatever, because of, or go wherever
Yes.
because of that.
Okay.
Then around P5, I came to study in Kampala. Everyone needs to study in Kampala for better education. So they say. So I came to Kampala. I went to Nabingo Primary School, boarding primary school.
You left home into boarding.
Imagine coming all the way from Kisoro to straight to boarding primary school.
How was
It was tough.
Oh.
Everyone who's been to Nabingo Primary School, they'll tell you it was tough.
What was it about the
Hey, I don't
experience?
know. It was, class was class, but everything around, I don't know why to me, it felt like the teachers were going through something. They were always rough and tough. If a day passed without any spanking or caning, count yourself blessed. So it was tough, but still, I mean, we fetched water at the well. I did not know how to carry a jerrycan of water on my head. I had to learn. 20-liter jerrycan on my head at 10, 11?
Yes, P5 is about 10. Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, I loved the lessons I learned from there. Because by the time I went to S1, I had done 3 years in boarding primary school, strict and tough conditions. And I was like, what is this? I went to Nabisunsa Girls School. I was like, oh my God, I did not know boarding school can be so, like, this was like being in a 5-star boarding primary school. Boarding secondary school.
So the foundation you got of those 3 years, it the rest was a breeze.
Yes.
Ah.
Oh, I loved it. I was like, this is so nice. No one is calling after you. I mean, of course, they disciplined us so much.
But the beatings.
But the
were
beatings weren't there. We were much, I don't think, having been in boarding primary school younger, I was feeling like, oh, this is for bigger girls.
not.
You know, you're not treated as like micromanaged like they were in the primary. In
Yeah.
primary, you had the matrons always looking out. What have you done wrong? Not even what you've done right. Most of the time, what have you done wrong? So you're always
On
trying
edge,
to be
always trying to
exactly. You're
please.
always on edge in the dormitory, on the compound, in class. It felt that way. That's what it was anyway. So at secondary school, that wasn't there. I was like, this is so good. So I remember wondering why some of the girls in S1 were crying and this is so difficult. I was like, difficult? You seem difficult? I really couldn't understand. But yeah, I mean, it was their first time.
Yeah.
Of course, looking back now, they were young. You're
They were
12,
young.
13.
And they've also probably just left home, so it's a different
Exactly,
experience.
you've just left home. Well, then I went to, so that was my O level.
O level, and then
Nevisunta Girls School. Then I went to Makerere College School for HSC.
Makerere College.
Yes.
Okay.
Which was very nice.
And a very different experience also.
Very different experience. The first year, S5, I was in a day school. So I've done at least over 7 years
In
of boarding. So it was different, but it was fun. First of all, to me, high school felt like 1 year. It's supposed to be 2 years, but like the time passed so fast.
Really?
So fast. Maybe because I was having a lot of fun.
I think. I think
First
so.
of all, what I loved about it was the change of coming from a girls' school for O level to a mixed school for HSC. And if you ask me today, I think high school
should be mixed up.
should be that way. Not mixed per se. Maybe you get a bit of both.
A bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is pros in being in a single school.
I think
Certain
there are
things
less distractions. If we're going to be very honest, if only because of the puberty and hormones and
Yes. That's true.
and adolescence and all of that.
Yeah.
But I always think that sometimes it's not really a reflection of the world today. If you are like, for example, if the entire time you're in just a single-sex school, but hey,
no.
But
Yeah.
also, everyone's experience is different because our personalities are also different.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
Personality.
So Makerere College was good.
It
I
was
went to
good.
Makerere College,
Mappa.
so I like to hear that.
Nice.
Mappa was fabulous.
Mappa was fun. Of course,
Mappa is
I love
music,
the stage.
dance, drama.
Music, dance, drama. So that was fun. Even the sports too.
Oh, yes.
Even the sports. Like, even though I wasn't playing, we would still go to cheer on the guys.
The basketballers, the rugby
basketballers.
teams.
Exactly. So it was fun. Also, because it was by Makerere University. Well, we would have that pressure of, oh, I can't be here and I won't make it there.
Thank you. It was like, it had to be the next step.
Yes, but also the liberty that Makerere College had. I was like, coming from Nevisunta, that was, you're guarded, you're always in the gates. Makerere College, literally, the first thing that shocked me was a visitor. Like, you get a visitor and they come straight up to your classroom.
Yes.
I've come for Gillian.
But they just walk in.
No.
Come to see you.
In Nevisunta, it was different. Yeah. You had to go to the administrative office. If it's not a visiting Sunday, you just leave your message there. You may not even see whoever came to visit you. Makerere College.
No.
So those
are the blessings.
I mean, it made it seem like, okay, yeah, it's cool, but then you have a life too.
I actually feel like it almost gives you a little taste of what it would be like at university.
Yes. Because when we got to university, You know, when some people are like, oh, no, it's university, I have to have so much fun, I'm free, freedom. I was like, really?
What's the big deal?
What's the
This
big
seems to
deal?
be a running theme. You come from primary, you're like, what's your problem? This is a good life.
Perhaps I
Now we
experienced
get to
these
campus,
things.
we're like, calm down, calm down.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the excitement? But then again,
But I'm with you on that one as
if
well
you've been
because
guarded the
I
whole
felt
time,
like
you'll
when I
be
got to
excited.
university, my friends who had been in some of those strict boarding schools,
Yeah.
they, woo,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
really
yeah.
almost failed like the first
True.
year.
No, you're absolutely right.
So
Yeah.
it for at least for the balance of being able to do
Mm-hmm.
different things, it
Mm-hmm.
helped a bit.
It did. It did. It really did. And I'm grateful for that.
So what did you do at Macquarie?
At Macquarie, so I went to Macquarie University
Uh-huh.
and I did social sciences, Bachelor of Arts in Social Sciences.
Okay.
And I loved it. I loved it. I was an evening student. So, yes. So during the day, what did I used to do? Homework.
Homework.
Or rather, maybe
Coursework.
Coursework,
Uh-huh.
yes. I would do coursework most of the time, library, but I would visit my friends. I would watch TV, you know, everything that a college
So you're a university
student
an evening
does.
student all through.
All through, all through. But I loved it. I don't know, I had so much to do during the day, not a job, but there was so much to do during the day. Then also discussions. Yeah, not a,
No,
once
but
in
I
a
think we
while.
enjoyed life again.
But I still did enjoy life. I had friends, even in KIU, other universities. So you visit, they visit. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you've been working with an international organization. Was that the plan? Did you, like, in your mind, set the target and say, I want to work with, or things just kind of fell into place?
Well, I remember when I was still young in Kisoro.
In Kisoro?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my maternal uncles worked with a UN agency.
Okay.
And he would come visiting, driving a UN car, and I'd be like, oh my God. I don't know, maybe he told me a story or two. He was such a loving uncle. May God rest his soul in peace. So I liked what he told me. I liked what I saw. So I would be like, I really want to work with that organization. I want to work as an international staff. So I think that's where the seed was planted. But at university, I used to interact a lot with one of the lecturers and for guidance. I used to always go for guidance. What do I do? Then I remember in my third year, we used to do about five or six course units each semester.
Okay.
And I felt like I was convicted that I really wanted to work with NGOs. I love humanitarian work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the core of me, humanitarian work. I love to serve so much. You had primary courses to do, and then you had what they used to call majors and electives.
Yes, yes.
And there was a course unit on NGO something.
Oh.
And I couldn't take it on because I had already selected my electives. And I remember going to my lecturer and asking, can I do an extra? Can I do an extra course?
Outside the
Outside
required.
the required 6 or so. Just because I want to know, I would love to work with NGOs. So I want to do this course on NGOs, something. Then he said, sure, it will be, if you can manage to do it, because you should be doing 6, let's say, but that would be an added one. We will not award marks to it for it or something. I said, it is okay.
But you can do it.
I just want to know, I want the knowledge.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just said I wanted the knowledge.
Wow.
And I did it. It was an extra, which meant extra time, studying, extra classes for that. But it did me good. It did me good because with it, by the time I left the university, I was able to actually run on it.
Look at that.
It's like out of everything,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the one that really propelled me into my first
Imagine.
job, which was with an NGO. I worked with MSF.
Oh,
Yes. And
wow.
from there on, I worked with other NGOs. Yes.
I like that. I like that. Although it's quite interesting, you did everything else,
Yeah.
but what really
That
gave
one,
you the knowledge you needed to start?
exactly, is
Mm-hmm.
that extra
That
course.
elective course that
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the first NGO you worked with?
I worked with MSF for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They were great. They were
Yeah.
great in the sense that I'd never worked. I'd never been those kids that had an opportunity to do, a job here and there.
Mm-hmm. So, it was first
So it
time.
was first time, and they were really strict on doing what has to be done.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot.
So,
They
that kind of set
literally,
standards for you?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
standards that I've used to date. The discipline in work. I had a very good uh, boss at that time who not only gave work, but then mentored you as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the discipline, how to be professional, keeping time, small things. I mean, MSF, you're working with lots of French. It was MSF Switzerland, but there was a mix of,
Yes.
Europeans and different expatriates coming
Yes.
to work with us. So discipline with work, how to be professional, and then how to literally be organized in your work. Today is when I look at it, I'm like, no, you don't do this. You don't do things this way. Actually, about, I think in January, I met my former colleagues
Yeah.
at MSF.
Okay.
And of course, we're talking about, our time. And somehow we all were like, I still maybe organize my documents the same way we did it at MSF.
Really?
Yes.
So there are things
There are
that
things we
stayed with
did,
you.
like how we filed, simple things like that. How we filed, how we recorded, how we reported, how we met, all. And
And
it
for someone in
matters.
admin and
It matters
administration,
for me in admin, finance, budget, human resources. It means a lot to be very organized, to be very
Okay.
discreet with people's information. Like, that's
that too.
that's like the basis of your work.
And it makes your work easier for you.
A
It saves a lot of
lot. When you
time as
can
well.
easily identify when reports, you can easily retrieve a report. Sometimes, if you don't do just those simple things, if auditors come, how do you find the information that you're to
That they're
submit to
asking
them?
for.
Why are you looking for? Where do you find it? But you see, in that, I was able to, with my next jobs, and why I say it's some of the principles that I use to date, is because I pass them on. I pass them on to teams that I lead or I work with, and I'm like, you could do this. Very simple things, but mean a lot.
Okay.
Mean a lot, not just to you or a team, but to the organization, your managers. When someone like my current, or rather my recently former position,
Yes.
it was a huge organization, first of all, okay? Many people, 15,000
People.
personnel,
Yes.
just to retrieve someone's information, if it wasn't automated or if it wasn't entered into the system, it can be a problem. It can be a challenge.
Yes.
And you never know
And
what
entered
would
into
be
the
asked.
system the right way.
The right way. And you never know what would be asked, because you're in 2024, they could ask for something, a document that maybe, carried some information that they want to know about that was in 2015. As far back as that. And sometimes, yes, there is a lot of automation, but sometimes, especially with these international organizations, having hard copies is necessary. Sometimes they really want the hard copy. So tell me, it's over 8 years down the road.
You need to have
How do you-
filing systems that are so
Yes.
So accurate,
Yes.
essentially.
So that's just, an example of simple things, but
Mm.
make a huge difference. Make a huge difference in
I
the
imagine that
workspace.
because you're talking about the professional space, but this probably also even, like feeds into your private life as well, I imagine. Right?
Those who know me will say Gillian is so organized.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm.
OCD.
You have
Organized.
OCD organized. Like
OCD
what's an example?
organized.
What's an example?
When I come to your house, I may just subconsciously
Mm-hmm.
start folding
Oh.
things, wipe here and there. I
Mm-hmm.
love washing. I don't like cooking, but I love cleaning.
Okay,
I
now
will clean from the
you
morning
and I can
to the
go
night.
and do something because I like the cooking.
Oh, really?
I do
I
not
need
like
that
washing
balance.
dishes. I do not.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
washing dishes. Washing dishes, it's so therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
I love cleaning the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Just, all of that, wiping here and there. And I will do it every single time I see a spot. I'll go back and do it. So yes, obsessively, but that translates, like you said, does it translate into my real life? I think naturally that's what I am, and then plus this, then it becomes worse.
Okay.
But I
But
love it.
hey, no,
Yeah.
but that's who you are, though.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
Yeah, that's who I
So,
am.
how do you handle chaotic, messy people?
Ooh, I think I've come to learn to appreciate people differently and who they are, because sometimes you need that chaos.
Huh.
You need it. You need it. Everything can't be immaculate all the time.
True.
You need the chaos. And sometimes maybe you need that chaos to know that you really need to clean, not just one spot. Like I'm very aware that I'm being obsessive,
Yes.
but it's something in your mind that just you can't be. I wouldn't sleep when I know there was some dust somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to clean it off, then I will rest
And then okay, so it really
very
affects
well.
you.
It affects me, but I know that I shouldn't.
Well,
It's just dust. I could clean it in the morning.
But you see,
Why am
if
I
to
cleaning it
you,
at midnight?
if to you it's no big deal, then it's fine. Hey, we're all different. Because I'm even thinking your background and your years working in human resource.
Yeah.
One of the key tenets is that we are different. People are so
Oh, yes.
different.
People
So
are
you
very
must
different.
work with people's strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
So that they are placed
Yes.
perfectly. And that also, so you bring out the best in them.
Absolutely. When you learn that, then you appreciate people, whichever way they are. And it's okay for people to be who they are. It's okay if I'm a neat freak, and it's okay if you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that synergy, like you said, we would, work
Yeah.
together. You cook, I clean.
I like what you
You do
said.
this, I do
Sometimes
that.
we need the chaos.
No, we do. We need the chaos, because I have friends who have told me, wait till you have a child. And they'll throw things all around.
You look around, you're
Then
like,
you'll know that I'm so tired. I just can't keep cleaning
Yeah.
after them. Then, your house will be a mess. A mess is good. There's one time I watched a show and they was like, but you need the mess. The mess means there was love around. Yeah. Because
the mess tells the story.
I've had people who visit me and they're like, do people live here? Yeah, because
Gillian.
everything is in order.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if everything is in order, do people live here? Because if people lived here, then
Things would
should
be
all
moved
over.
around.
Yeah.
That's interesting. No, I know
True.
that the mess tells a story, especially with
Yes,
children.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And also, the more you learn about child education and the fact that they learn through play, they also learn through mess.
Oh, yes.
That's
yes.
where
This is why they're always throwing things around, go back, pick them, maybe leave them.
they're able to be creative. They're able to also
you
engage
very
the
much.
problem-solving side of their brain when
True.
things are kind of
True.
Yeah, things like
True.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to know, you said that was the first NGO you worked with.
Yes.
Then where did you move on to?
Then I moved on to a German NGO called Arbeiter Samariterbund.
Okay.
I think their projects wrapped up maybe around 2017.
Okay.
I don't remember so well.
Mm.
I wasn't so much in
You
touch
had
by
left
then. I
by
had
then.
left. Yeah, but they had projects in northern Uganda. So I got, chance to go to Lira as far as Kitgum, then Amuria, then to the east, I think we went to Soroti, yeah, and also where? To the west? No, they didn't have, it's the next
So-
that had,
Okay, the next.
I worked with GIZ. Then it was GTZ. Now it's GIZ, and they had projects in Chaka, that's in Fort Portal, I think towards Fort Portal, and then Nakivale,
Okay.
that's somewhere after, or in Tungamo, I think. Yeah.
How was that experience? Working in different parts of
Good.
Uganda.
Good. You get to have trips to go and visit colleagues there. As an human resources officer, I had to go, visit, have meetings with staff, interact.
But you were
And
mostly based in Kampala?
I was
in
based
that
in
time?
Kampala for all
all
the
three.
jobs. Yes, I was based in Kampala. But your projects and programs are in,
So you have to
in
keep
different
traveling.
regions. So you have to go visit colleagues, interact with them, find out as an HR challenges, even different services. Because I remember at ASB we launched a new healthcare system and had to go with a team of from the health care provider to to inform, to launch it to colleagues. So those were different trips we went to. Things, performance appraisals. There was always work to, or sometimes just to go with the director to maybe if he's going for meetings or to monitor the projects. So it was really interesting. It got me to travel different parts of Uganda, which I wouldn't have if maybe I had
If
a
you'd
job
worked in a different.
in a different organization that's just here in Kampala.
Did you enjoy
So I
that?
love it.
Like
I loved it.
the travel?
Oh yes,
Okay.
I love traveling. I loved it. I remember, and the experiences. Oh my God, I remember in ASB in Pader.
Yes.
So I always had this thing of, if I travel to a new place, I have to experience the place. I can't just, some of the trips were short as maybe one night or 2 nights. In Pader, we're like, we have to go to the club of
In Pader.
Yes. Meanwhile, I think it was shortly after, I think it was just shortly after Kony and all of that. They say, okay, we'll take you to the club. One of our colleagues is like, we'll take you. We had really,
We
want
need
go.
to
I'd gone with another,
party.
about 3 of us who had traveled from Kampala. We need to party. We want to know what clubbing is like in Pader. Oh my goodness. It was a block, no roof,
Oh,
not plastered,
open air.
open air. I think they were still building, but I think in the evening, maybe one of the builders, I don't know, brings his system and people come and dance. It rained. We danced everything that we could dance to. Larakaraka, everything. We danced.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Oh, that sounds like a nice
What an
experience.
experience. Where would I have ever done that? Larakaraka dance is the northern...
Yes, the northern dance, yeah.
The northern dance. Did I know it? No, you just see someone dancing, you do the same. And they're
then
like,
you also
before they
start
know
to
it,
do
of
the-
course they can tell you're not of Pader. And they're like, oh, okay, they come and join. And it was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Oh my
It was fun.
goodness.
Then I remember in, was it Tamuria? I hope I'm, well, in eastern Uganda, where they drink on the pot with straws. I remember when I was there, we're like, let's experience this.
How was it?
An experience.
And someone gives you that.
It's like a sip.
You just took a little bit.
God, that was way before COVID. Things have changed now.
I
You just
know.
can't go and you're seated with people and you're sharing and sipping. No,
A lot has changed since
a lot
then.
has changed. So
Okay.
those were the good
So the
days.
opportunity to go to Liberia
Yes.
came up after that. Because you were first
Yeah.
posted in Liberia out of Uganda.
Yes.
Okay. How did that happen?
Well, through a colleague, such international opportunities, everything now with technology, everything is online. Go check it out. Check out if you hear of an organization.
Because there are a lot of people who
Check it
want to live
out.
with, to
Look at
work with an organization abroad, but they're like, I don't even know where to begin.
exactly. So, I mean, thanks to technology, you now gone are the days where you had to look for, maybe someone tells you, or you look for newspapers and you have to, check what's there, what job is there. Now everything is at your palm. You, if you hear of an organization, go check it out. Look it up online. Look at their career section, and create a profile. First of all, create a profile. That's what most organizations do. A general profile. Then look for the jobs they're in. What vacancies do they have? Do they, are you suitable for them? Does your profile match? If it does, then go ahead and apply. Before you know it, you may get called. Yeah, that's literally
so you
what
have
happened.
to put yourself out
That's
there.
what happened. So a colleague of mine told me about the UN volunteers. So I said, okay, what's that? So I just created a profile. Created a profile. And that was it, actually. That's all that
That's
I did.
how it all started.
And years, no, not years, a year passed. I had totally forgotten all about it. So
Really?
just out of the blue, I get an email. Oh, would you be interested in, there is an offer coming up, a job coming up, so would you be interested? I said, sure. I never said no. I never said no to opportunities. Never. Even when I can't do it, even when I know I can, I will go fake it.
Okay.
I just don't say no because
You don't
even though
limit
you
yourself.
fail,
Yeah.
what I say is it's free of charge. I didn't have to pay for it to create a profile on someone's platform.
Yes.
Then, even though I fail, I will learn something out of it.
Okay. Okay.
So I just try. Just try. So I was like, sure. Then they said, okay, we'll get back to you maybe in a week's time. So I'm like, okay, I had forgotten all about this profile that I once created. I couldn't remember how to log back in. I was like, what did I do? What did I even put in that profile?
Okay.
I could not remember a thing. It was like after maybe a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't think.
So you'd even
you
forgotten
think, okay,
about
I did that,
it.
and totally.
Okay.
So what happened there was they got back to me and they said, oh, interview on this date, blah, 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 be ready.
Okay.
I said, okay. So now I, of course, put effort, went back, tried to retrieve my profile, couldn't, forgot password, did all of that. Then I looked back at what I had posted that time.
Okay.
Looked at the vacancy announcement, started prepared for the interview, did the interview, luckily, unfortunately, passed it. And before I knew it, like in 2 weeks, they were giving me an offer.
Okay.
And did I even know? You think about Liberia, of course. We've studied, Ugandan schools teach practically anything and everything, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good because you
We
get
know a
to
little
know
bit
a
about
little bit of, yes. Of course, I've heard of Liberia before, but I didn't even,
You didn't
I was
know
like, where?
anything
Is it even in Africa?
really.
That's when I go back to the map. Where is Liberia? And of course, West Africa. I'm like, okay, fine, we'll go. Let's see what's there. But remember, I had always wanted, well, I was already working with NGOs, and most of my colleagues are expatriates. So by then, I have this interest of going to work as an expatriate too, somewhere.
So the seed had been planted way back, but also the environments you were in.
But I will still say it's really from those little things, like the extra course that I did, like not don't let go of opportunities. You never know. And sometimes it's the people that you meet that will lead you there.
True.
Yeah. So anyway, that was it. Then I went to Liberia.
What was that experience like?
Liberia. Liberia in the beginning. Well, for the start,
Yes.
I was confused. Cultural, first time away from home.
Okay.
First time, it's still Africa, but West Africa is really not like East Africa.
Yeah, it's very
It's
different.
different. So first time in a huge organization. I mean, the NGOs that I worked with, maximum number of the whole NGO's personnel was about maybe 200, 250 staff. This one, just the department that I was in was 250 staff.
Different world.
Then the next, and the next, and the next. So you have so many departments. All of them have so many staff. So there were so many people. It's an international organization. So many nationalities, so many people, so many languages. So everything was new and shocking. And that day I arrived in Liberia, there was they had gone through re-elections, like presidential elections had happened like maybe a month or so before. And then because they didn't really accept what that was, so they had to vote again. And that day, either that day or the day before, that had happened. And now I think people were still not agreeing to some things, so they were protesting. There was
day you arrived.
Huge protest the day I arrived.
Wow, what an introduction.
Imagine. So I get to the airport and they're like, oh, you guys can go into the city. There is terrible protests. Like Liberians really, really, when it's protesting, it's real.
Yeah.
They're fighting, stones are being thrown and all of that, tear gas, you know how it is.
Yeah.
So we had to stay at the airport, waiting till security clears us to go into the city. I'm so tired, but I was like, okay, we'll see. Too tired to even be worried, like scared. No.
At that point, you're like, I just want to get to wherever I'm staying.
Exactly. And by the time we got there, I think we arrived at I must have arrived at about maybe 5 p.m. I only got to my residence at maybe 10 p.m. Yeah, 10 or 11 p.m. Anyway, the first 2 months in Liberia was so confusing for me. I think culture shock.
What was it that was so different?
The organization is so big, different nationalities of people that you're engaging with. You're away from home. You miss home naturally.
Of course.
You miss friends. So you have all of that, and then you have to already start working. And I just remember being confused most of the time. And perhaps it was being homesick but the first 2 months were literally, I was in a daze. I would do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I knew what to do work-wise, but I would fail to even start. Maybe even the shock. I'm like, oh my God, is this me in this kind of environment? This is so huge for me. But it took me, luckily, every 8 weeks, you can go on holiday.
Okay.
For R&R, rest and recuperation.
Yes.
So the first 8 weeks, like I was counting down, I had to come back.
You wanted to come home.
I had to come back home. And it took that to, as I was returning, I knew now what I was going to. I knew where I was going. I knew everything that I was going to. And it took that to feel like
kind of reset for you.
To reset, yeah.
Okay. Because you're like, okay, I can go home at any time.
Yes.
if I really have
yes.
to.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think maybe just coming back home and I'm like, okay, this is what I've experienced. Now I know what I'm going for. Yeah.
No,
So
what you said about, when you're used to, for example, being here,
yeah.
used to community, used to family,
Yeah.
you're used to the Ugandan way of doing things.
Things. Thank you
Things that
very
we take for
much.
granted. I think
Yeah.
we don't really think about.
Yeah.
And then you now in an agency where you're working with all kinds of different nationalities,
Yeah.
and you have to be aware of that as
Yeah.
well. So you must also adjust the way.
You must adjust. Also, the weather. First of all, we need to remember that West Africa is 3 hours behind East Africa. Like I said to my friends, I'm abroad. Because sometimes it's the same time in Europe.
I know.
So, time difference, weather. The weather in West Africa is not the weather in East Africa. It's harsh. We are blessed with our equatorial weather. West Africa, depending on where you are, they have the Hamatan, for example. That one that we studied in class. They have the Hamatan, which is around November, December, like December, January, up to like mid-February. It can be harsh. It's desert winter,
Yes.
literally. It can be harsh, skin dry, and all of that. So climate, the weather is harsh. Okay? And Liberia, if you didn't know, Liberia and Sierra Leone are the countries that receive the most rain in the world.
That's why there's always flooding.
So it rains like downpour, heavy downpour, for 4 to 5 days, day and night, non-stop. The first time I hadn't experienced the rainy season. I was thinking, okay, people would talk about it. I was like, it can't be that bad.
You mean non-stop for 5 days?
Non-stop, 5 days, heavy downpour. Do you remember, was it last week
storm
when
that
it
we
rained?
had,
That
yes.
storm for 5 days, day and night, non-stop. See, our storms here, it pours, then stops.
Yes, and then we're
Non-stop.
completely disorganized by that.
Exactly. Non-stop, 5 days or more, sometimes 7 days in a row, day and night.
Wow.
It takes a lot of time to get used to that.
I can imagine. That can be depressing,
Floods
though.
all
huh?
over the place. Just know that that season, the rainy season in West Africa is June to about September. But in Liberia, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah.
Just know that by the time we're in September, I don't even think I had shoes anymore. You just can't wear normal shoes in that situation. You need boots. You need rain boots.
Yes, like Wellington.
Yes. You just can't wear normal shoes.
Wow.
It's really that serious.
Okay.
To think that you're going to wash your clothes and hang where? There's a storm day in, day out.
That too. So, in terms of living,
So in terms of living, there's a lot.
the experience you had to
get
adjust
used to. Yeah, to adjust to all those seasons. But yeah.
Okay.
But then until I went to Mali.
Because Liberia, what, 2 years, 2.5?
Mali, yes, Liberia did about 2.5 years.
And then.
But it was fun. Liberia, they call it the land of liberty.
Okay.
And they live by that statement. Liberians are so, they love to have fun.
Really?
So you see that storm I told you about? They will dance in that storm. Nothing stops them from having fun. They will have a party. They love to party. They honor birthdays. It's an insult if you don't tell a Liberian happy birthday.
Oh, really?
It
They take it
means a
very
lot.
seriously.
High school graduation and birthday celebrations are huge. Yeah. So anyway, any reason to celebrate.
Oh, okay.
Come rain, come shine. And it's by the ocean. Liberia is by the ocean, by the Atlantic.
Yes.
So mostly Sunday, but even Saturday, it's beach day.
Okay.
Yeah, they love to have fun. It's from then that I realized, that's my own judgment, that's when I realized that people from landlocked countries, their personalities are more conservative and reserved
Yes.
than people
who are
from
by the coast.
by the coast. And I think it may be the, I don't know, water,
Being close to
interaction
the
with
water.
water, and they say it's therapeutic, and all. They are free spirited compared to people from landlocked
And not
country. I
more
mean, in
easygoing.
Liberia, for example, people would, let's say, well, the way Monrovia is kind of like designed, you have the seaside, which is by like the people who live by the seaside,
Yes, yes.
and then the land side, you're far off the sea, just a little far off the sea. And people from land side will come in their swimsuit to go for beach day to the beach. Like, why do I have to carry things to go and change at the beach?
Okay.
You wear your swimsuit
You
and
imagine that
maybe
here in
put a.
Uganda.
Oh my God.
Ooh, scandalous.
I mean, you're going to cross a highway maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, and
But they're just like
why?
in a
But
wrapper
I'm
and
going to
they're...
the beach. Yeah. Why should I carry so many things to go and change? No. Yeah. So that free spirited. What I loved most was the young and the old. You can't tell the difference. A granny with the kid, they're all booging in the middle of a storm. I'm like, don't you feel you're wet, like you're drenched? Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
that free spirit was something to to cherish. You're like, wow, people need to be like this. Like, isn't that YOLO?
It's never that serious.
Yeah.
But you're right. People who live in coastal areas, they always just seem to be
They
so much
are
more
free-spirited.
easygoing.
Yeah, and I loved it. And many of us who may have been in Liberia even after we left, you're like, oh my God, I miss Liberia.
Oh, you miss
It
that.
was so nice. Yeah, and I love the ocean. And I lived, my apartment was by the seaside. And I loved waking up to the swish and swash of the ocean. Oh my God, deep in your sleep, and you just hear the waves hitting. Oh, so good. So good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was a great experience.
Yeah.
Clearly.
But that was after. Remember the first 2 months?
I know. After the adjustment and also the accepting that this is
then
it
you
now.
love it. Exactly. This is going to be my life.
And I think
yeah.
that's with
And then
any
you start
major
to enjoy
adjustment in
it.
life, you have to give in at some point.
Yeah. Oh, you have to. Otherwise, you will not enjoy. You will not enjoy the time.
You'll struggle.
And yeah, you're only there for a short time. Remember. But again, you have to live.
Yeah.
You just can't be there not, enjoying it. So eventually, you learn how to live like everyone else. Yeah.
You were in Mali for 10 years.
Yes.
I feel like that was like literally home also now. At that point, doesn't it become like home? How was that experience?
It becomes like home. I say, you've lived in a place too long when the beggars on the streets wave at you. They know you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
When the beggars on the streets know you, then really they know you've been passing here, they see you, you perhaps give them, something. So, yeah, they now know you're part of them.
Okay.
Or, this is another. Because you're home away from home, your family are the people around you. It's either your colleagues, or it's the plumber, or it's the mechanic, or it's the electrician.
I didn't thought about that.
Or
Yeah.
it's the security. Yeah.
That's your new family.
That's your family. Those are the people those are the people who, are really around you.
Because you said you'd only come back for 3 weeks a year, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine, just this concluded Eid. In Mali, they're still celebrating Eid now. It's a whole week's event.
A whole week?
Yes, it's big. So you're like, I'm sending Eid messages, and you're sending to those. The mechanic, the plumber, your house assistant, those are your people,
Yeah.
Which might not really be what it was when I was in Uganda.
True.
Yeah. But those are your family now. Yeah.
I'm sure you miss them.
Malians are good people.
Yeah.
Really good people. Oh, bless them. They're so kind. very friendly, very accommodating. Crystal, can you imagine a country, let me say country, let me not even say the city, Bamako, but a country where there is no petty theft? You forget your phone and you'll find so many missed calls, either on your phone itself or the person you last called.
So they'll pick and try
They
and
will call the person you last called and say, this person called you. They forgot their phone here. Please tell them to come for it. Everyone, I'm sure everyone has forgotten to lock their car once in a while.
Wow.
Even though it's overnight to the next day. Nothing touched. No,
Wow.
no
Hadn't
mirrors
heard that
removed.
before.
No.
Yeah, here you can be living
With
on
even
high
the
alert.
things, even the things inside your car, nothing taken. Mali is I don't know. If we could borrow that, they say it's because they're 95% a Muslim country.
Yes.
They say it's the religion, but I think it has also been embedded in them.
Yes, it's part
that maybe it's part of them. Petty theft is not there. Wherever you forget something, be rest assured you're going to find it.
Not
Yeah.
here. The handbag is there. Where's the phone? Have I locked? Did I leave
Exactly.
something in the car?
You
Oh my
go
God.
back to check if you still
And you have a security guard. You're like, please watch my car for me. And there's so much going on. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's a blessing, I have to say.
And because they are francophone, they are very gentle. Every time I come to Uganda, I'm like, I miss Mali for this. Someone, if you're lifting anything, someone will come to you to ask
To help.
to help. Can I help you carry? Every guys especially, they will lift something for ladies. Same thing, you're entering a car, someone will, like how in a parking lot there's always security.
Yes.
They will come and open the door for you.
Oh,
I know.
that's nice.
I know.
I'm listening to you because, before we started the interview, I'm like,
Yeah.
people tend to have this one way they think about West Africa.
Oh,
right? They're like, East Africa, we are like this. Yet, even as Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda were different.
Yeah.
And then West Africa, it's like everyone is like Nigerians, for example.
Oh, yeah.
If that's the only experience you've had, if you've only watched Nigerian movies,
yeah.
and yet West Africa is huge.
It's huge. For example, it's really huge. And the cultures, first of all, they're very heavy on culture, especially Mali. Very heavy on culture, love their culture. And I would like to say Mali is one of those African countries that are still heavily embedded in culture. Like, to break that, it will take
a while, eh?
more AI to break it.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, what are some of the cultural practices and
art? Art, music. They're heavy on that. And
their music.
Yes, their music, the kora. The kora. They play the kora. Oh, they have this thing, like, for example, at any restaurant, you'll find someone who's playing the kora, just softly in a corner, softly playing the kora for, everyone who's around. Yeah.
This is new. I didn't know this.
Especially in the evenings, there will be someone, just a random restaurant, by the way, it doesn't have to be a 5-star or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're really heavy on art. They have good art pieces. Oh, really good art pieces. The mud cloth, the bazin. So they really, and their culture also is, as Muslims, they have these, they live together. So they had, when I first went there, or rather when our program started there, we struggled to find apartments because they had more of mansions.
Where you have families all
houses.
Living together.
Yes, because families live together.
Right. Right.
Even when the boys marry, they just either take the next room or the next wing or build somewhere around the compound. Then the wife comes in like that. So the families live together. They have huge mansions with swimming pools, like 10-bedroom houses. Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the weather,
Okay.
it's in the desert.
Mm.
You know, it's in the Sahara Desert. So it's hot, so hot. You can, most of the people have built, have put, most houses, you can't build a house in West Africa without an AC, first of all.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's really like, and in the further north you go, the more important and necessary an AC is.
Yes. But some people see it as a luxury here. There it is
We see it as a luxury, there
necessity.
it's a necessity. Same thing as pools.
Mm.
You have to dip. Sometimes the weather is just too hot, but even when it's hot, the water is hot too.
But it might still help a bit.
It might help a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was the culture. People live together and they have this thing, tea. Oh,
All the time.
Malians, Mauritanians, Senegalese, that, you know, community. They love green tea, and there is a special way they make it.
Green
It's not
tea?
just tea bag. No, there is a special way they make this tea. It takes maybe close to 30 minutes or even more just making it. And after they've made it, they all share. You find them passing it around. Like they have little, it's like a shot of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how communal they are. That even when someone strange comes into the compound and they have made the tea outside there, normally they sit outside the gate in the evening and they take their tea outside the gate.
Outside.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But even a stranger, they will offer tea. Yeah. So, you know, small little things, but you're like the culture. Now, by the 10th year, if I may
Yes.
say,
Yes.
you could see that international influence or international organizations coming in
Yes.
change the ways of life.
Okay.
By then, so many apartment buildings had
Had gone
mushroomed.
up. Mhm.
Yeah, so many. Oh, I forgot to mention that as the boys marry in, if I may say,
Yeah.
into their family homes, the girls, why there were no apartments, a girl doesn't leave home
Until she's
until
married.
she's married. So of course, I mean, there are Malians who have lived all over the world.
Yes.
There are those who have gone, come back, you know, different places. I came to understand we have a huge Malian community here in Uganda, somewhere in Mengo, I think. So when they come, of course, they come back with experiences from abroad. And some of them are independent. They would want to get an apartment of
They
their
live
own,
alone.
or they would be looked down on. Like,
Be
why is
judged
she?
seriously,
She's
yeah?
judged. You're not married yet. Why are you living by yourself?
Why
Come
do you
home.
want to be alone?
Why don't you be at home until you get married? That kind of thing. But by the 10th year, all that
It
had
was-
changed a little.
Right. Now it had
little.
become more acceptable.
People are now, yeah, because now they see, okay, many people, apartments are coming up, people have to fill them. Oh, the international experts or personnel are living in apartments, females, males, so why shouldn't the other one also do? So I think, you know, that culture has changed a bit.
A bit, yeah. But still, they're very communal.
Very communal.
So
Very, very communal.
you're wrapping up to come back to Uganda.
Yeah.
Would you say a bit of a shock?
Oh, yes.
Would you say it's a bit of a shock?
It was a shock. I always say, whoever of us is still here standing strong, you're a survivor.
From that time.
Oh, yes. Because we were only given 6 months to wrap up an entity that has over 15,000 uniform and civilian personnel.
All across the country.
All across the country, especially in the north where there is a lot of conflict. Yeah, there's armed conflict in the north since 2012. And That meant wrapping up not just personnel,
Yeah.
but equipment, assets.
True.
Yeah, that meant also assets. So how to draw down personnel, draw down equipment, get it to a safe place, which is in the capital, Bamako, and then all of that is whatever is gotten there. Because remember, it took 10 years to build and place in all those
Yes,
different
and to
locations. Set up and all. To tear that down in 6 months is little. And meanwhile, the people to tear it down are the people going through it. You're facing life like you've only been told you won't have a job again in the next maybe 1 month because the drawdown was phased.
Yes, of
Not
course.
everyone left on the 6th month. No.
True, true.
People started living from the first month post the announcement.
Wow.
So the trauma of seeing people live each month with, hopelessness, you don't know what you're going into. Like I mentioned to you earlier, most people had their children in international schools. Schools
So people had their
begin around
families there.
September. This happened July. So you have to think, okay, maybe I had just paid, but will I be able to pay for school fees for that since I won't have a job for the
Yeah.
next semester? Should I pull my kids out of that school? Fine, that was a non-family duty station. And you don't have children right there with you because it's non-family, so you don't bring your kids. But your kids could be studying in another country, So like strong decisions had to be made in so little time.
In so little time.
While continuing to perform because work had to be done.
Exactly.
And this time it was crucial and critical draw down. There were timelines and we had to make sure they are met so that by the 31st of December, everyone is out.
Was out.
Everyone is out of the
despite
country.
your personal experiences, you still had to do your job.
Yes.
Essentially. In
Yes.
fact, your job on overdrive.
Absolutely. The blessing is the organization had a counseling section. So there were counselors who, anyone could go and speak with a counselor. And different programs were put in place to kind of prepare people, how to update your CV.
Because this is a sudden, abrupt change.
Yes, yes. It's like what's happening currently to the world.
Yes.
International organizations are facing this exact situation. They're having to close, they're having to draw down, they're having to stop projects and lay off staff.
And you have people who are kind of, some people have been let go, some people still just there, they don't know what's next,
you don't know
what's happening,
Yeah.
if you still have a job.
And Crystal, there is something that we really need to be grateful for, not just as Ugandans, but as Africans in general. This community living is a blessing. I had colleagues who, are from countries or communities that are really not communal.
Yeah.
Okay? And when such situation happens, they immediately get into a depression. When I left Liberia, they had started a planned and phased drawdown.
Okay.
And eventually the mission, that was 2014 when I left. The drawdown began in 2013. And
the tree.
Blessings. And the mission closed in 2017.
Okay, so that's
a
3
planned
years.
drawdown. That's what a normal planned drawdown is.
Yes.
You plan for it, you say in the next 3 years we'll be phasing out slowly by slowly until the last day. But this was instant.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you have to be out by the 31st of December.
So back to the communal societies. Why I brought in Liberia is we had colleagues collapse and die. Yeah. Because that's sometimes, if you didn't plan your life, that's when you realize I'm not going to have a job again. International organizations are pretty they're good. They give a good package to their personnel. Okay?
That's what most people would think.
Exactly.
But
if you've not been investing it and planning for it, because not
and
everyone
if you have a
thinks to
contract, for
invest.
example,
Exactly. You have a contract
maybe it's just
every
even
year,
been
it's
renewed, and then you've made certain plans accordingly.
But not everyone makes those plans.
Yeah.
In such an environment, some people will go along with the fun and the hype and vacation and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't put aside and invest and plan, and then all of a sudden they say this is over, then you're like, oh my goodness.
Oh, you have to go
What
back
am I
home, but
going to
there's
do?
nowhere to go back home to.
Exactly. Because this is when you remember that it's not easy to get a job back home. The competition is stiff.
Yeah.
You know, all of that. I have not invested. That too. Speaking of investment, it's not even easy to invest when you're away from home.
That's what I was about to ask. Did you try anything when you were away?
I tried some things, they failed.
Okay.
Then I tried others, luckily with the support of my family members who kind of like really put their foot down and said, okay, we'll manage for you. Then some have, survived and managed, but it's difficult. And it was really like with all my colleagues. Maybe those who really managed are those like you have family, you have maybe your wife or your husband and they're back and, they run the project.
Yes.
Because just having, siblings, aunties, uncles, everyone is busy with their life too. They may not monitor on a day-to-day, whatever your project is.
Yes, true.
So it's really to think what projects don't require daily monitoring that I can invest in. Yeah.
And then also, like you said, you're not going to have a job for a while.
Yeah.
You have to manage your living expenses. You have to figure it out. As not only are you looking for a job, but also trying to say, what is the next thing I'm going to do?
What's the next thing? Yeah. Also, one thing to mention is those countries, at least the two that I worked with, they're going through a lot, security-wise. The economy is really not as good as here. They're going through, issues. This is why international organizations are there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you find that the cost of living is high.
So even though you're well compensated,
which explains the well compensation, because sometimes, let me give an example. A 2-bedroom house rent will be about $800.
Okay.
What would that be here in Uganda?
I can have a house here.
It would be a house.
Or a very big apartment in
a big, yes,
in one of the probably higher end neighborhoods.
Exactly, that's what it would be. So you find that you may be making it, but you're also going to spend
cost of living
before it even reaches your people. So you really have to be planned. Yeah, you have to plan. You have to plan and know that, okay, plan your money wisely. Because these are projects and programs which come to an end. They're not lifelong.
Yes, of course.
Jobs.
Of course.
Yeah. Also the fact that, if you may ask, it's good to get a bit of that and then normalcy. Okay. Because it's not really normal life there. You're in a non-family duty station. Most of the time you're away from family and friends. I can't tell you when I last attended a function, for example, because I'm never around. I don't even own traditional wear anymore to go for a kwanjula or anything. Honestly, I have not attended a function in so long, so long, and you get used to that, and that becomes life.
That becomes normal for you.
Yeah.
So these 3 months that you've been home, I can imagine.
It's like getting back, like picking up from where I left.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Quite a lot to adjust to.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. I know we need to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
But what is the impression that you have gotten from others about you living abroad or working abroad?
Let's see.
Because
Maybe admiration.
yeah, I feel like a lot of people think, oh my God, it's all this wonderful, which there's a good side, but there's some downsides too.
Oh yeah, they're good sides.
But things that you
It's a
hear
blessing,
here,
absolutely.
when someone like, oh, you work where?
Mm-hmm. Tell me about it. Is it so cool? No, these countries are poorer than Uganda, first of all.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why I was asking about the food element.
The food element, it's different. West African food is different. And even in their societies, I think what we know mostly is Ghana, Nigeria, because they are Anglophone. But you know, they have the Francophone.
The Francophone. Yeah.
They have the Lusophones too. So that cultures are a bit the same, but and as Africans, by the way, in general, like the core of us is the same. I could see some things that I could relate to Uganda or to East Africa or West Africa, that kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
But the food is a bit, I find them more creative with their food.
More creative.
Yeah.
They use a lot more spices.
Spices,
is
yes.
it processes?
But there will be different ways to cook cassava, for example.
Okay.
They pound it and make maybe, is it, I think, fufu or whatever. They will roast it. They will boil it like we do. But they will do different things with it, That's for maybe Nigerians, Ghanaians. But now for Mali, they eat a lot of meat.
Oh.
A lot of meat.
Okay.
So, I think you've seen the sheep from Northern Africa. The huge white sheep. I call them biblical sheep. Because I think that's the only place that I have envisaged such sheep. Huge. As huge as a person. Big. Okay. They rear them.
Okay.
They're cute though. They're white. Like spotless white. Some have spots, but most of them are white.
Yes.
Very, very huge. And they love to eat mutton.
Ooh, so mutton is there.
Sheep and cows, of course, you have tribes like the Fulan who are cattle keepers. I think the herdsmen. Yeah.
So when you say they eat a lot of meat, is that like every meal must have meat?
Every meal, if they could, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they eat a lot of. A Malian loves their meat. Yeah, They eat a lot of meat. But, Mali has it's a desert. So the temperatures are always, especially now, the hot season is from March to June. The temperatures are in 40s, 45, 50.
So this heat wave that we just
Oh,
had
that
the
was
other day,
nothing.
and we were dying.
That was nothing. That, you know how the temperatures go down in the wee hours? That heat wave was wee hours of Mali. I think there was someone I showed last week. I was like, you see, what's the temperature right now? And it was about 28. And then I showed them the temperature in Mali. It was about 38 going to 39. And it was only 10 a.m., which means it was 10 a.m. Mali, which would be 1 p.m. Uganda, which means by 3 p.m., 4 p.m., those temperatures, the 38 of 10 a.m. is going to be 45 maybe.
Oh my goodness, because we were hitting, 32, 33, and we were dying here.
Yeah. And the 28 would only be like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m.
So that's the relief where you're like,
no, it's not a relief. Because the way the houses are built, the heat, the day's heat gets into the concrete. So the houses are, like the rooms are hot. So hot. Hence the AC.
okay.
Hence the AC. Very hot in the night.
So we should stop complaining.
Hot that people don't even sleep in the house. Especially, not everyone can afford an AC. Remember, this is a country. This is a country that's poorer than Uganda.
Yes, yes.
They sleep outside. So they have this, the way their houses are designed, they have open roof. So most people sleep at the top where there's some fresh air and they just put like a mosquito net. Like how you have that baby net. Like when you have
the one that
a little baby, the one you put on the bed and cover. So the baby... Yeah.
So they have the bigger ones.
Yes, for adults.
Okay, cultures are very different.
Yes.
But I just thought about that heat wave, and I'm like, we were
It's so
literally
hot.
melting.
And that is Bamako.
Mm.
If you go further north to the northern regions, Kidal, Tessalit, it's worse. 50, sometimes temperatures are as high as 55 degrees Celsius. Yeah.
Okay, my brain is glitching. I
Yeah.
cannot even imagine it.
Then you get the opposite when it's the Hamatan season. You literally get the opposite.
That's crazy. Extremes, huh?
Temperatures can go as low as even 1 degree.
Wow,
Yeah, so desert winter is real.
it's real.
It happens and it's so cold, and if you're used to an environment that it's so hot all the time, you get all sorts of sicknesses. I remember my first 2 years in Mali, I always constantly had a cold, flu and cough
Sorry about
all the
that.
time. So bad that sometimes it came with a fever all the time. So every fortnight I was sick.
As we wrap up, like, what are your key takeaways from living in West Africa? Some of the things that that you really are going to remember and
Oh.
miss.
Okay. In West Africa in general,
Or
the
Mali, I would
food
say Mali, since that was home for 10 years.
for 10 years. Being around, I forgot to mention,
What?
in the gentleness of Malians, they have this culture where you greet everyone. So even a stranger, you pass someone, you have to be like, bonjour, bonjour. You know, that whole thing of just passing anyone and you greet. Of course, the lack of petty theft.
Yes, the security in
Like you
that
don't
way.
have to look over your shoulder the whole time. You don't have to hold your bag so tight. You know that nobody will be, looking at your bag to grab it from you.
Yes,
I
yes.
miss that. The gentleness, opening the door for you, helping you carry things. Not that I like that so much, but I mean the help.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sometimes you have like loads of things. You're coming out of the supermarket and no one can help you. So I'll miss that. And of course, I made friends.
Yeah.
I made friends. I'll miss them. I miss them.
You do miss
Yeah,
them.
I do miss them. And I don't miss the weather though.
From what you've told me,
No,
I don't think
no,
so.
no. I don't miss the weather at all, and I'm glad we are here. There is one thing I observed about Malians. They're hardworking.
Okay.
They love to work. So every field in the city, in Bamako, any space, let's say this is your house and the next plot of land, maybe nothing is being done on it. Somebody will plant vegetables, a spinach garden or whatever it is in it. So they are doing farming anywhere and everywhere in such high temperatures, which means they are irrigating.
Yes, that is
Every
serious
hour
dedication then.
They are irrigating. So you till, first of all, you irrigate to soften the land, till it, prepare it. Most of the time they plant vegetables because they are quicker. They take a short, maybe
Yes.
like a month, not even a month, weeks. Yeah, like maybe 3 weeks and they're already harvesting and replanting.
But that dedication,
But
though.
I would observe people irrigate from as early as 6 a.m. to as late as 7:30 p.m. The whole day. The only days they took a break were Eid, because they have to celebrate Eid celebrations. There is also another 2 celebrations of they call the Maulud. I've asked my Muslim friends, how come you guys don't celebrate Maulud? Anyway, so there is that too. Those are the only times I've seen them take a break, and that's just like half the day for maybe prayer
And yet when you think
eat
about
with the family and go back.
how we are here, and we're
So
blessed with
blessed. You
so much
plant,
land
you go
and
back
good
home
soil.
and chill until you weeding time. You weed here and there. You go back and chill until harvest.
That's a lesson right there. That's a lesson.
But you see, takeaways.
But maybe because we have food.
Takeaways. You see, we are blessed. I mean, Uganda, we have a lot of food. We can't complain.
Yes.
In Mali, I would crave for pineapple. I love pineapple.
And you have the best
or
pineapple in the
avocado.
world.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I see one at the market. I buy it, very excited. I can't wait to get home. I'm going to eat a pineapple. You reach, half of it is rotten. The other half, you can barely find the juice in it. Then it's
Oh,
tasteless.
okay.
Yeah. We are so blessed. We have food, we have good weather. But to see people who are working hard regardless,
With what they have.
irrespective of the bad weather and I mean the harsh weather, but they still have to do what they have to do. I mean, to survive.
Very
Yeah,
inspiring.
very. Another takeaway is, should anyone have an opportunity to go anywhere and forget America, Europe, please. There is a lot in these other countries, not just Africa, but any third world country.
A lot of
That
opportunities.
opportunities and what to learn, what to learn from them. And it's when you go there, not to say that they shouldn't go to Europe and wherever, go.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is go wherever you can, because you will learn from those societies, from those communities, their ways of living, the ways they do things too. And you can always bring this back home. Let me give an example. In Mali, they have better roads than us,
Their roads.
which to me is like shame. They're poorer than us.
Especially when you're talking
They
about
have
that
better
extreme
and
weather.
wider roads than us. They have more motorbikes than us. Why? Our motorbikes are commercial, right?
Yes, mostly.
In Mali, motorbikes are a means of transport for everyone, just like it is in India. So ladies, men, everyone is riding a bike. And they love to wear their African Ankara. So you find someone, a girl with her makeup on, with her long Ankara on a motorbike to where? The club. Yes.
Okay.
If you've been to a club in Mali, outside,
And
yeah,
they're safe,
you may
more
think
importantly.
you may think this is a place where they sell motorbikes. Lots, over hundreds of bikes lined up.
Oh, wow.
Because girl, boy, man, woman, everyone came on a motorbike. So there are lots of motorbikes
That's very interesting.
there. But they have their lanes. They have their lanes that they ride on,
So
not
it's
in the middle of the
organized.
road.
Yeah, not
Of course,
anyhow.
somehow they will come in into the main road, but they have, like, when they're building their roads, they have the lane for bikes, like you
So
see
we're
abroad.
talking about discipline, essentially.
Yes. And not so much discipline.
No, I mean, to some degree. I mean,
They have the provision. Our
And it's
Ugandan
true.
roads, we don't have a provision for that.
yes.
Okay, maybe because our roads are narrower.
But we're also in discipline. Let's not.
But yeah, discipline too.
Yes.
I really wouldn't say discipline because they can be
I am
all over
saying
the
as
place.
a Ugandan who drives on our streets,
I
we're
know,
not very
I know
disciplined.
it's hectic. It's really
Yes.
hectic.
Uh-huh.
But what I wanted to say is they have hours. I don't know how they came up with this law. You see how we have so much traffic? They have hours where they close certain roads that experience heavy traffic and they make them one way. So, for example, this Acacia Avenue, that's what it's called,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Normally at peak hours, morning, the traffic is coming to town.
Yes.
Evening, it's the other way around.
Yes, yes.
So if it were in Mali, that road would be one way in the morning. Like normally they have, I think, like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. One way all the way to town, so that all that fastens the traffic.
Yes.
You see that? Same thing in the evening, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That road would be one way coming. So the other guys, if you're not going the same direction of where the traffic should be, you should be finding an alternative. There are alternative routes to use. So different roads that have heavy traffic, That's how they do it.
Okay.
So
That's
back
how they
to
manage it.
how would I know this if I'd never been there?
Yeah.
How do you see something that you could be like, okay, if I was in position, that may be something that could be implemented here. It would speed up the traffic so that, you know, people get to where they're going just because that whole road has been made one way.
Wow.
So again, if you have an opportunity, go. There's always something to learn. There's always something to learn out there.
Yeah.
Don't say no. Also, because if you go there and it's not working for you, you can always quit and come back.
It's not a contract to death.
No, it's not a contract to death. You go if it's working for you, do it. If it's not, leave
Don't
it.
fail to try.
But don't fail to try. There is so much to learn. My organization, I was privileged. Every group of 5 to 10 people, those were 5 to 10 national countries.
Would come
There
through.
is a lot to learn from different people, and how you're speaking with someone from South America and their core culture is just more or less the same as yours. It's just different things that, you know,
A
just
few
small things
different
that may be
things
different.
that were more
Yeah.
similar than we think.
More similar than we think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Gillian, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
That's
Thank you
nice.
for having me. It was
Pleasure.
really good speaking with you.
And sharing your experience.
Thank you.
I look forward to chatting some more.
Thank you. I'm available.
She's here now.